The massive research vessel Astral Seeker drifted silently through the debris field of what was once humanity's first deep space mining operation. Chief Researcher Cryaxix stood motionless, his iridescent scales reflecting the dim emergency lighting as he studied the wreckage through the observation dome. His secondary hearts beat an irregular rhythm of anxiety. "Impossible," he whispered, his translator converting the clicks and whistles of his native tongue into standard galactic common. "Show me those readings again." His assistant, a towering crystalline being named Vira, projected a holographic display of their sensor data. "The humans survived the quantum core breach, Chief." "Not only survived, they contained it." The quantum core breach should have vaporized everything within a light-minute radius. Instead, the human miners had somehow jury-rigged their primitive fusion reactors into a makeshift containment field. The laws of physics said it couldn't be done. The humans had apparently not received that message. "Play the emergency broadcast again," Cryaxix ordered, his dorsal spines rippling with unease. A scratchy human voice filled the chamber. "This is Station Chief Sarah Chen of Deep Space Mining Operation Theta. We've got a situation here. The alien artifact we discovered in the asteroid belt. It's not just dead tech. It's active, and it's leaking something nasty. Our quantum physicists say it's impossible to contain, but we're going to try anyway. If anyone receives this, well, wish us luck." The recording ended, but Cryaxix could still hear the eerily calm determination in the human's voice. They had faced what his civilization considered an extinction-level event, and they had treated it like a technical problem to be solved. "Chief," Vira's crystalline form pulsed with concern, "the humans are approaching." A battered transport ship limped into view, its hull a patchwork of emergency repairs and improvised shielding. Cryaxix's scientific mind reeled at what he was seeing. They had used mining laser arrays as makeshift propulsion systems. The ship's life support appeared to be powered by a combination of salvaged alien technology and what looked like modified food processing units. "Open a channel," Cryaxix ordered, trying to keep his voice steady. "This is the galactic research vessel Astral Seeker. We received your distress signal." "Oh, thank God," a tired human voice responded. "This is Sarah Chen. Sorry about the mess out here. We had to get creative with the containment solutions. Your quantum core design is brilliant, by the way, but the fail-safes are a bit restrictive. We had to bypass them to get the containment field working." Cryaxix felt his scales pale. They had bypassed fail-safes that had been developed over 10,000 years of careful research. "You modified our technology." "Had to," Sarah replied matter-of-factly. "It was that or let the breach destroy half the solar system. Don't worry, though. We documented all the changes. Your engineering team is going to love this. We figured out how to increase efficiency by about 300% by integrating it with our plasma containment systems." Warning signals flashed across Vira's crystalline surface. "Chief, they're using technology from at least 4 different galactic civilizations in ways that violate fundamental engineering principles. And it's working better than the original designs." Cryaxix felt a cold dread settle in his primary stomach. In the span of a few hours, faced with certain death, these humans had not only survived, but had advanced quantum containment technology beyond what the Galactic Council had achieved in millennia. "Permission to dock?" Sarah asked, seemingly unaware of the existential crisis she was causing among her would-be rescuers. "Our jury-rigged life support is starting to get a bit wonky. Had to rebuild it using parts from the coffee maker and some old environmental suits." As Cryaxix gave the authorization, he began composing an urgent message to the Galactic Council. The humans weren't just another spacefaring species to be studied and potentially inducted into galactic society. They were something entirely new, a species that didn't just use technology. They'd reimagined it, reshaped it, forced it to work in ways that should be impossible. And they did it all with the casual confidence of beings who had never been told that there were things they couldn't do. "Oh, and one more thing," Sarah added as their ship approached the docking bay. "That artifact we found. We think it's some kind of ancient warning beacon. The quantum signature matches some weird readings we've been getting from deep space. You might want to take a look at our data. We had to rebuild our sensors from scratch after the breach, but they're picking up something big heading this way." Craxix looked at Vira, seeing his own fear reflected in her crystalline facets. They had come to study the humans, to evaluate their readiness for galactic society. Instead, they had found something that threatened to upend the very foundations of that society. The humans weren't ready for the galaxy. The galaxy wasn't ready for the humans. The emergency session of the Galactic Council stretched into its third day. The massive chamber, designed to house representatives from over 1,000 species, hummed with nervous energy. Craxix stood at the central podium, his scales now a muted gray from exhaustion. "The humans have done it again," he announced, causing a ripple of dismay through the assembled delegates. The holographic display behind him showed the latest incident, a human research station surrounded by a strange, shimmering field that shouldn't exist. 2 standard days ago, Research Station Omega detected an approaching quantum storm. The same type of phenomenon we believe the ancient warning beacon was monitoring. According to all our models, the station should have been destroyed. Instead, he gestured, and the display showed Dr. Elena Rodriguez, the station's lead physicist, calmly drinking coffee while the impossible storm raged outside her window. The force field protecting her station glowed with patterns that made several council members avert their eyes. They created a phase-shifted quantum barrier by combining 3 incompatible technologies. Vira explained, her crystalline form projecting data streams. They used Zentarian power cores, modified Exclith field generators, and parts from their entertainment systems. They're what? The Zentarian delegate's tentacles coiled in distress. They called it a gaming console, Craxix replied. Apparently, it was crucial for managing the barrier's power fluctuations. Dr. Rodriguez said something about it being good at handling graphics processing. The council chamber erupted in chaos. The humans had taken sacred technologies, developed over millennia by multiple civilizations, and combined them with their primitive entertainment devices to achieve something that their best scientists had deemed impossible. High Counselor Ixel, a being of pure energy, pulsed with concern. How many humans possessed this ability to reimagine technology? All of them, Vira answered, causing another wave of distress. It appears to be a fundamental aspect of their psychology. They view technology not as fixed systems to be mastered, but as starting points for innovation. The display shifted to show various human facilities. In one, a maintenance worker was casually modifying the Zentarian quantum computer using parts from his personal communication device. In another, a group of human students had turned a standard alien food synthesizer into what they called a quantum-enhanced pizza maker. The situation is accelerating, Craxix continued. Since our first contact 3 months ago, humans have filed over 10,000 patents for modifications to our technology. Their children are now learning quantum mechanics through what they call hands-on experimentation. Their children. The Exclith representative's bioluminescent patterns showed clear horror. Yes. Last week, a human adolescent reconstructed a broken quantum communicator using components from something called a toaster. When asked how she knew it would work, she said she just thought it made sense. The council chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity wasn't just advancing. They were rewriting the rules of technological progress itself. Every piece of technology shared with them became a seed for dozens of innovations that shouldn't be possible. There's more, Vira added, her crystal structure dimming. The quantum storm that Research Station Omega survived. Our long-range sensors indicate it was just the beginning. Similar anomalies are appearing throughout this sector of space. The ancient warning beacon was right. Something is coming. Craxix felt the weight of the Council's attention. We face an impossible choice. The humans' casual disregard for the laws of physics terrifies us. Their innovations threaten to upend our entire understanding of technology. But with these quantum storms approaching, we need them. High Counselor Ixel finished. Their impossible solutions may be our only hope. Precisely, Croc 6 agreed. But there's a problem. Dr. Rodriguez and her team have been studying the quantum storms. They have a theory about their origin, but... He paused, his scales shifting to a shade of deep concern. They say they'll need access to our most advanced technology to confirm it. The council erupted again. Giving humans access to their highest level of technology was unthinkable. The damage they could do, the fundamental laws they could break. We don't have a choice. Vira's voice cut through the chaos. The storms are spreading. More will come. And if the humans are right about their origin, her crystalline form pulsed with images of the deep space readings, showing patterns that no one in the chamber wanted to contemplate. The High Counselor's energy form flickered in what might have been resignation. Very well. Grant them access. But establish monitoring protocols. We need to understand how they do what they do. As the council session adjourned, Crack 6 received an urgent message from Research Station Omega. Dr. Rodriguez and her team had already started modifying their quantum sensors, claiming they had some ideas about improving the range. The message ended with words that sent chills through all of Crack 6's spines. P.S. You might want to check out what we did with your quantum coffee maker. We think we accidentally discovered a new form of matter. Don't worry, though. We're pretty sure we can control it. Dr. Elena Rodriguez stood before the hastily assembled emergency response team, her hologram flickering slightly as quantum disturbances rippled through space. Behind her, the modified sensors of Research Station Omega painted a terrifying picture of approaching devastation. The storms aren't natural, she explained, manipulating the holographic display with practiced ease. They're weapons, or more accurately, they're the aftershocks of weapons fired long ago. Croc 6 felt his scales ripple with dread as he studied the data. The human scientists had done something unprecedented. They'd learned to read the quantum signature of time itself. The modified sensors, built from a bewildering combination of alien technology and human innovation, could trace the echoes of events that had occurred millions of years in the past. The ancient warning beacon wasn't just a warning, Elena continued. It was a survivor's message. There was a war fought with weapons that broke the fundamental laws of reality. The quantum storms are just the ripples reaching us now, like waves from an explosion finally reaching a distant shore. Vira's crystalline form pulsed with concern as she processed the implications. How did you achieve this level of temporal sensing? The technology required would be beyond even the Galactic Council's capabilities. Elena shrugged, a gesture that somehow made Croc 6 even more nervous. We noticed that your quantum sensors picked up traces of chronological distortion. The patterns reminded our team of some theoretical physics papers from the 20th century. So she paused, seeming to search for the right words, made some adjustments. What kind of adjustments? The Zentarian delegate demanded, their tentacles writhing with anxiety. Well, we combined your quantum sensors with modified versions of your temporal stabilizers, ran them through an experimental AI we built using parts from several alien supercomputers, and calibrated the whole thing using an old atomic clock and some quantum-entangled coffee makers. The silence that followed was broken only by the soft hum of machinery and the distant rumble of approaching quantum disturbances. You used food preparation devices to measure time itself. Croc 6 finally managed to ask. The quantum coffee makers were key, actually, Elena replied enthusiastically. Something about the way they manipulate matter at the quantum level to achieve the perfect brew temperature. It gave us the insight we needed. But that's not the important part. She gestured again, and the holographic display zoomed out to show the entire galaxy. Red lines traced the paths of quantum storms, converging on their sector of space. The weapons that caused these storms, they're still active. The war never really ended. The combatants just moved to a different level of reality. What we're seeing are the side effects of their continuing conflict bleeding through into our spacetime. If you've managed to detect them, Vira began, her crystal structure clouding with worry. Couldn't they detect us? Alina's expression grew serious. They already have. Those quantum storms aren't random. They're being drawn to areas of technological advancement. Every time we make a breakthrough, every time we combine technologies in new ways, we create a signature they can detect. Then we must stop. The Zentarian delegate's translator barely kept up with their panicked clicks. We must cease all technological development immediately. That wouldn't work. Alina shook her head. First, it's too late. They've noticed us. Second, and more importantly, isolation and stagnation is exactly what allowed them to become what they are. We've studied the historical data from the warning beacon. The civilizations that survived weren't the ones that hid. They were the ones that adapted and fought back. Croxix felt a familiar sense of dread as he recognized the look of determination on the human's face. It was the same expression Sarah Chen had worn when facing the quantum core breach. "We have a plan," Alina announced. "It's absolutely insane, probably impossible, and definitely breaks several laws of physics. But we think it will work." The emergency response team watched in mounting horror as she outlined the human proposal. They wanted to combine technology from every major galactic civilization, integrate it with their own primitive but wildly innovative systems, and create something that had never existed before, a weapon that could strike back at beings that existed outside normal spacetime. "This is madness," the Zentarian delegate whispered. "The energy requirements alone would be—" "Oh, we solved that," Alina interrupted. "Remember those quantum coffee makers? Turns out if you network enough of them together and run them through our modified gaming consoles, you can generate practically unlimited energy. We're calling it the barista array. We'll need about 1 million of them, though. How quickly can you manufacture them?" As the aliens struggled to process this latest example of human innovation, Alina's hologram flickered again, more violently this time. "We need to move quickly," she said, all traces of humor gone from her voice. "The storms are getting worse, and our sensors are picking up something else. Something big. We think they're coming to see what all the quantum noise is about, and given what they did to the last civilizations that caught their attention, we really don't want to be unprepared when they arrive." The Galactic Council's Central Command Center had been transformed. Where once stood dignified rows of traditional monitoring stations, now hummed a chaos of hybrid technology. At the center of it all, surrounded by screens showing approaching quantum disturbances, Dr. Elena Rodriguez worked alongside Sarah Chen, their movements quick and decisive. "The barista array is online," Sarah announced, her hands dancing over controls that merged alien quantum interfaces with modified human tablet computers. All 1 million quantum coffee makers are synchronized and running at 400% efficiency. Croxix watched in a mixture of horror and fascination as human engineers swarmed through the facility, casually rebuilding million-year-old technology with parts salvaged from their entertainment systems and household appliances. Every instinct told him to stop them, but the approaching storms left no choice. "We've detected something." Vira's crystalline form pulsed urgently. "The quantum disturbances are coalescing. They're taking shape." The main display showed it clearly now. A massive void in spacetime, spreading across multiple star systems. Within it, something was moving. Something that shouldn't exist in normal space. "They're coming through," Alina confirmed, her voice steady despite the implications. "The beings from the higher dimension. They're manifesting in our reality." The void continued to grow, consuming light and matter alike. Traditional sensors couldn't penetrate it, but the human-modified systems revealed terrifying glimpses of what lurked within. Shapes that violated geometry, patterns that hurt to look at, entities that existed in more dimensions than space should allow. "The ancient warning beacon was right," Croxix whispered. "They destroyed entire civilizations just by existing in our space." "Well," Sarah replied, her fingers flying over her jury-rigged control panel, "let's see how they handle something they've never encountered before." Human ingenuity cranked up to 11. The barista array hummed to life. 1 million quantum coffee makers working in perfect harmony, channeling energy in ways that defied physics. The human engineers had networked them through modified gaming consoles, using something they called parallel processing to handle the impossible calculations required. You realize, the Zentarian delegate observed nervously, if your calculations are off by even a fraction, this could tear apart the fabric of space-time. Already thought of that, Elena called out cheerfully. We're using the quantum uncertainty principle to our advantage. The improbability of our solution actually makes it more effective against beings that exist outside normal space-time. The void pulsed, and something emerged. A vast consciousness that existed in dimensions beyond human comprehension. Its mere presence began warping reality around it. Now, Elena shouted. Sarah slammed her hand down on what appeared to be a modified game controller. The barista array fired, channeling impossible amounts of energy through pathways that shouldn't exist. The beam that emerged was like nothing the galaxy had ever seen, a combination of quantum mechanics, human determination, and perfectly brewed coffee. The entity recoiled as the beam struck it. For the first time in millions of years, something in normal space could affect it. The void rippled as more entities emerged, drawn by this unprecedented occurrence. They're responding, Vira announced, her crystalline form barely able to process the readings. The quantum signatures are changing. Of course they are. Elena grinned, making adjustments to their impossible weapon. We're the first species to ever fight back. We're the first ones crazy enough to look at their impossible physics and say, hey, we can work with that. The command center shook as reality itself buckled under the strain of the conflict. Human engineers rushed from station to station, making repairs and modifications on the fly, combining technologies in ways that made the alien observers want to look away. The primary array is starting to destabilize, Sarah reported. The quantum harmonics are exceeding safe levels. Safe levels are for people who follow the laws of physics, Elena replied. Reroute power through the backup gaming consoles and increase the coffee maker synchronization by 200%. You can't. Croc 6 protested. The energy density would. Already done. Sarah cut him off. Elena, you should see this. The entities are trying to adapt to our attack, but they can't predict what we'll do next because we're not following any rational rules of physics. That's humanity's secret weapon, Elena said, her eyes locked on the readouts. We don't just think outside the box. We take the box apart, rebuild it into something new, and use it to make coffee. The void pulsed again, but this time it was different. The entities were retreating. The impossible shapes began to withdraw, pulling back from normal spacetime. They're running away, Vira observed, her tone incredulous. The beings that destroyed countless civilizations are retreating from modified food preparation devices and gaming consoles, Sarah added with a grin. Don't forget the gaming consoles. As the void began to collapse, Elena turned to address the assembled alien representatives. We should probably warn you. We kind of had to rewrite some fundamental laws of physics to make this work. You might notice some changes in how quantum mechanics behaves from now on. Don't worry, though. We're pretty sure we can explain how to adapt your technology to the new rules. We've already got some ideas for improvements. The aliens watched in resigned horror as humanity prepared to teach the galaxy how to operate under their new impossible physics. The universe would never be the same, and perhaps that was exactly what it needed. 1 year after the quantum entity incident, as it came to be known, Croaxic stood in the observation dome of the Astral Seeker, watching humanity's first quantum innovation center take shape. The massive structure hung in space like a testament to the impossible, a fusion of alien precision and human chaos. The latest report is ready, Vira announced, her crystalline form glowing with data streams. You may want to sit down for this one. Croaxic's scales shifted to a pattern that indicated both amusement and resignation. What have they done now? The humans have finished adapting our quantum technology to what they call the new physics. But they didn't stop there. They've started applying their coffee maker principles to everything. The holographic display showed scenes from across the galaxy. Human engineers worked alongside alien scientists, teaching them how to break and rebuild the laws of physics. Ancient technologies, once considered perfect and immutable, were being transformed into something new. The Zentarians have allowed human engineers to modify their quantum core designs, Vira reported. Efficiency is up 600%. They're using modified toasters as power regulators. Toasters, Croc 6 repeated softly. Of course they are. The display shifted to show Dr. Elena Rodriguez and Sarah Chen leading a class at the Galactic Science Academy. The audience included beings from every major civilization, all watching in rapt attention as the humans explained how to violate the laws of physics in productive ways. The most surprising development, Vira continued, is the response from the younger generations. Alien children are starting to experiment with technology the way humans do. Last week, a young Enxiclith created a quantum communicator using parts from their equivalent of a toy. Croc 6 moved closer to the window, watching as construction drones swarmed around the Innovation Center. The design itself was pure human chaos. Asymmetrical, constantly shifting, yet somehow more efficient than anything the Galactic Council had ever built. "We were wrong about them," he said finally. "We thought their disregard for the impossible was a threat. We never considered that maybe the impossible itself was the real threat." The latest data from the quantum sensors supports this, Vira agreed. The entities haven't returned, but we've detected similar dimensional anomalies in other galaxies. The humans want to establish innovation centers there too. They're calling it Project Coffee Break, preparing the universe to defend itself, one impossible invention at a time. A small ship caught Croc 6's attention, a human maintenance vessel, approaching one of the station's quantum arrays. He zoomed in the display, watching as the crew began their work. They moved with that distinctive human confidence, that casual certainty that the universe would bend to their will if they just had enough duct tape and creativity. "They're still terrifying," he observed. "Yes," Vira agreed, her crystal structure pulsing with what might have been amusement. "But perhaps that's exactly what the galaxy needed. The entities that attacked us existed outside normal physics. It took a species that refused to accept normal physics to drive them back." The maintenance crew finished their work, and the quantum array's efficiency readings jumped by 400%. Croc 6 didn't even want to know what household appliances they used this time. "The Galactic Council has approved humanity's proposal," Vira announced. "All restrictions on technological innovation have been lifted. They're calling it the human approach, controlled chaos as an evolutionary drive." Through the window, they could see Elena and Sarah arriving at the Innovation Center, probably carrying more impossible ideas to test. Behind them trailed a mix of human and alien students, all carrying tools and wearing expressions of excited determination. "You know what truly terrifies me," Croc 6 said, watching the procession. "This is just the beginning. They haven't even started really trying yet." Actually, Vira's form flickered with incoming data. Elena just submitted a new proposal. They want to try combining quantum coffee makers with something called the microwave oven. They think they can use it to create localized pockets of alternative physics. Croc 6's scales shifted to a shade that indicated both dread and anticipation. "The universe will never be the same, will it?" "No," Vira agreed. "But perhaps that's the point. The entities that attacked us had grown stagnant in their impossible realm. They never changed, never evolved. But humanity never stops changing, never stops asking, what if?" Outside, the Innovation Center's quantum core powered up, its energy signature a perfect blend of alien technology and human improvisation. Somewhere in the facility, someone had probably just made an impossible breakthrough using kitchen appliances and determination. "We thought we were studying them," Croc 6 mused, watching as more ships arrived. bringing eager minds from across the galaxy. But in reality, they were teaching us something we'd forgotten. The universe doesn't care about impossible. It only cares about what works. As if to emphasize his point, a new alert appeared on their screens. Someone at the Innovation Center had just filed a patent for a quantum reality modifier built from spare parts and optimism. The future had arrived, and it ran on coffee, creativity, and the terrifying certainty that nothing was truly impossible if you just hadn't figured out how to do it yet.